opportunity, I think, in media in Africa. This is a multi-billion-dollar business. And we're right on the cusp of it. It's about to break, and the time to get in is now.
And one of the things that we are currently doing, which I'm very, very excited about, is royalty collections. For the first time, we just signed a letter of intent with the Ghanaian Music Rights Association to be the company that basically provides them with data to collect royalties and distribute royalties to artists across the country.
Suddenly, as a continent, we're able to tell stories and create content that travels beyond kind of the continental borders. To Sakita's point, I think that transparency around data is becoming such a powerful tool, not only for artists and movie creators to really see where appetite sits, but it allows them to also start demanding where their royalties are.
Yeah.
And that's crucial.
That's $350 to $400 million. So you're talking about a $5 to $6 billion revenue business. That's the amount of money people are spending on media. We look at a new genre that we launched about 18 months ago, 18 months to 2 years ago, which is gaming. And in 2 months, that business went from $0 to $100 million a year. So I think earlier this morning, folks were talking about gaming as being a big business. Absolutely endorse that. In a continent where the average age is kind of 17, 18 years old, gaming is going to be massive. The biggest challenge with media, with gaming, music, and video in Africa is, number one, does the customer have a device to consume it? So you've got a feature phone, you can't consume video, for example. That's not true, because if you've got a browser, you can. All right. The second point was, okay, so now I've got a customer, what's the price of data? So we've got to get the data price down or make it invisible so the customers can eat as much as they want. And the third issue was, okay, I now can send them the content, but how do I monetize? How do I charge? Those are the reasons. These three things, that's the reason Spotify and Netflix are struggling here. And so we sat back and said, maybe there's a way that we can create a purely African solution for it. So that you've got to sit back and say, what should we be doing? And my view is, we've got to build an African version of all of these things so we can channel the money to the artists, which is where the creative juices are.
Toya, maybe you can answer this. What next for artists?
Well, I think it's all about aligning with brands now, or people that are interested in working within the continent and expanding. Cartoon Network asked me to voice the fourth Powerpuff Girl, the first black one. So she's African, and that's been huge. And so, I mean, there's lots of things now that we're planning to do. They relaunched the second season, and what I've seen this do is the fact that it's opened up Africa for me as an artist, because they also want to travel to these countries and grow and expand. Africa is a very young continent. By 2030, we'll be responsible for half the youth population in the world. So it's all about empowering the youth right now. And it's all about getting the right people that can get our content out to the people. And we could definitely create a global star. It's not that far that the next global star could come from Africa if we align.
It's actually easier not to commit a crime, if you see what I'm saying. Right? That's what you want to do. You want to make it so easy, I couldn't be bothered to steal this.
Yeah.
So it's also about tying in value-added services. If you have a streaming service and you get brands involved that are sponsoring playlists, every person who listens to that playlist gets a mobile voucher that the next time you walk into a store, you get a discount on a particular product. Or it links through to a merch site. Or, I think there are other ways around that where you can use. Brands want to reach audiences, right? With insights on who those audiences are. You'd be able to give brands access to that audience through artists. So how do you, instead of trying to fix this problem, not see it as a problem, but see it as an opportunity to figure out other ways to monetize? We keep bumping our heads up against piracy like it's going to go away one day.
People will consume music at the right price. We've seen subscription models work. Subscription models work in Africa with the right strategy. BBM, BlackBerry Messenger, at a very high valuation at 60 Rand in airtime, right? That worked. Why did it work? Because many people bought into it and they created an ecosystem around it, yes? So I don't think people don't have the money. I think we've not developed the strategy, and again, this is us working together here with the artists and making sure that they benefit and that they're at the forefront pushing this for us, and we just take something from behind. So I think people are willing to pay. The money's there.
One of the challenges with mass market streaming services is that you, as an artist, get paid out for your percentage of a content pool. But what we are seeing is the segmentation. So, East Africa, Afrobeats in Nigeria, you see it all over the world. You see sertanejo music in Brazil, and I think on Tencent's platform, 3% of their content is Chinese music, but 80% of their users listen to 3% of the content. So if you can start segmenting in the same way that we have segmented radio stations, you can give artists an opportunity to compete almost apples for apples, if you like, and figure out how they can take a bigger slice of that pie.
Speaking as an independent artist, who I'm running my own label, Delays Entertainment, I left the older model of the record label where everyone's in an office and it's a team all together and the costs are very high. When I left the label, I was left with this big ship. So the best way I've been able to stay relevant and still visible to my fans is by collaborating with distributors online and also just ad hocing. For me, now living in London, having moved from South Africa, I'm still in touch, and it's made the world a much smaller place than it once was. It led us to a lot of conversations on globalism and collaboration. Herman from MTN had a lot of statistics of trying to make a model that will encourage people to actually pay for music, and how they can use artists as like the leading force, as in getting into territories and having brands collaborate and align themselves with artists. But I'm just really excited that it's finally gotten to this point where we're thinking beyond the doorstep, and we can actually see the power of connectivity and collaboration and working together. Possibilities are endless. Africa's on its way, and time is now.